It's very nice to be with you virtually. I'm speaking to you from Brussels, where it is surprisingly snowing in Brussels, but I'm sure the snow will melt away very soon. I'm glad to share some thoughts with you about, say, what Europe is doing to promote the digital transformation. And within that, of course, how Latvia is performing and some priorities that the Latvian government and the Latvian stakeholders should really focus on in the months and the years to come. I think, first of all, I'd like to start with a positive. We just talked about trust and how important it is to maintain trust, but there is a tremendous promise in technological innovation. And I know I'm preaching to the converted here, but the opportunities are really, truly exciting and completely changing the way services are provided in the world. Think about personalized healthcare, so that the healthcare is really tailored to your personal needs, and not just you take a pill like anybody else. No, the treatment is personalized. Think about precision agriculture, that can really help us save or avoid using pesticides and artificial fertilizers, improve the quality of the harvest and promote sustainability. Think about the smart and clean manufacturing. Think about smart energy systems, safe mobility systems. We can really radically reduce the number of road fatalities and by using technologies that help us to get from point A to B in a safer way. So technology holds a major promise and can really improve our quality of life, help us to achieve also this important transformation towards a green and sustainable economy and society. That's the upside, and that, of course, we need to maximize as much as possible with our policies, with our investments, with our the involvement of all the stakeholders. There is also the downside. We heard already about cyber attacks, the spread of illegal content, which of course is a concern, of disinformation, discrimination with AI, new technologies coming in that could lead to outcomes that we as a democratic societies don't regard as acceptable. Inequality, a digital divide, where people that are quite well versed into technology or do have the means can benefit from all these opportunities, and people who are not will stay behind, and so that actually digital could split our societies, which of course we absolutely must avoid. So that's the bigger picture. We're at the beginning of the digital transformation. It's really exciting, and we've all seen in the COVID times, which of course we're still in. I'm still working from home as my colleagues from the European Commission. The acceleration has been tremendous. We had studies done, for example, by McKinsey, who have estimated that COVID has accelerated the digital transformation by 7 years. We're all using much more electronic commerce. We're doing video conferencing. We stay in touch with friends and family. Of course, using extensively also the social media industry. Is using much more the digital than they did before the COVID crisis hit us. So what is Europe doing? How are we going to make sure also in this global world that the European Union stays ahead, that it reaps the benefits, it maximizes the benefits of digital, and it minimizes the risks? Well, we have a plan. We call it the digital decade or the digital compass. We have set out quite clearly where we want to be by 2030 and how quickly we need to move to 2030. And we do that like a real compass around 4 cardinal points, where you have the north, you have the east, the west, and the south. Our 4 cardinal points are, first of all, skills, absolutely critical, digital skills. If people do not have the digital skills, as I said before, they will not be able to come on board to use all these opportunities that are out there. There's even a risk that as, for example, industry becomes more digital, that with a lack of digital skills, they might not continue to hold on to their employment, because employment, of course, the nature of employment changes quite fundamentally. So digital skills absolutely critical. And the aim we have set here is 80% of Europeans should have basic digital skills by 2030. At the moment, we're around 56% in the European Union. So, I mean, yes, we would love to be at 100%, but we also need to be realistic. We also need more people with advanced digital skills. I mean, I know in Latvia, we looked at kind of some survey results. More than half of Latvian companies cannot find or have a hard time to find the right people and people to work for them with the digital skills. So we need advanced digital skills. We need 20 million people with advanced digital skills, software engineers, data analytics, cybersecurity specialists. We've got 8.4 million today in the European Union. So we need to more than double it at a time when, because of demographic change, a lot of these people with these skills will retire. So we have a major challenge ahead of us here to get to that level of 20 million. We want connectivity, gigabit society, 5G everywhere. We want also to have that technology more developed in Europe. I think we all see that kind of the shortages of microchips is leading to temporary closures of factories in the European Union. We need to be able to stand more on our own feet. We cannot become too dependent on production capacities outside of the European Union. Our industry needs to digitalize because it can help them to become more innovative, more productive, I mean, develop new business models. So we have set targets that we want 75% of our industry to use advanced technologies, 90% of SMEs to have at least a basic digital intensity. We're far away from that today. And last but not least, we want public services that are kind of modern, where we have access to our own health records, for example. And when we travel, we can travel and we show our health records if we need to, when there's some kind of medical problem. We want to promote digital identity because we think it's really important that you can have your own digital wallet, like we have at the moment with the COVID certificate, which was developed by the European Commission in 3 months. You can now travel, again, with some restrictions. You can go into restaurants and cafes with that COVID certificate. Imagine you have a wallet where you have elements like this in your wallet. You have your ID card, your driver's license, your academic credentials, etc. That would make life also a lot easier. So this is like the European approach in terms of where we want to go. We have policies, a lot of policies to complete regulatory instruments to complete the digital single market, to get scale. We have money. John Higgins talked already about the RRF, the Recovery and Resilience Facility, 750 billion euros to be invested to modernize the European economy in the next couple of years. 1.8 billion for Latvia, nearly 400 million for digital has been earmarked in Latvia. We need to use that money wisely. Well, what is the kind of the implication of all of this for Latvia? What is the state of, say, the Latvian digital economy and society? 2 weeks ago, we issued what we issue annually. It's called the Digital Economy and Society Index. It's a ranking of member states, how they perform on kind of some of these key dimensions of digital, like connectivity, like skills, like industry, the 4 cardinal points, public services. Latvia is in 17th position. I mean, that's around the average, but of course, I mean, what we want to see, and I'm sure Latvia wants to see, is an acceleration, is really kind of making faster progress because the digital transformation is really happening very fast. Latvia has strong points. Connectivity is a strong point of Latvia. I mean, there's a little bit of a problem with the last mile, as we call it, because also of your geography in Latvia. Public services at this state, really, I mean, well developed. Can it be improved? Absolutely. I mean, electronic health records, e-identity, of course, lots of work ahead of us, but this is an area where Latvia is performing, relatively speaking, compared to the rest of the EU. Well, where are the kind of the challenges for Latvia? I think there are 2, and they're quite important, and they need to be addressed with real ambition and kind of in a sense of urgency. One is skills. More than half of Latvians, more than half, lack basic digital skills. That is not just a digital problem. It's a social problem. It's an economic problem. It's a cultural problem. These people do not have access to essential opportunities. They cannot do like electronic banking or public services or kind of receive important information that they need. And so a massive effort is needed to improve the basic skills level of more than half of the Latvian population. And that has to be done urgently because technology doesn't stop, it moves even faster. So what is like basic digital skills today is not the same as basic digital skills tomorrow. Second challenge for Latvia is the digitalization of industry. There's a beginning, but it's not enough. There is where Latvia is really, I think it's 23rd or 24th out of 27 member states. So that on the positive side, you can say there's a lot of progress that can be made. Only 9% of Latvian companies are using big data, for example. The average is much higher, is way over 20% in the European Union. Still too low, but there's quite a gap between, say, the EU average and Latvia. Only 19% use some form of social media, less than 10% use electronic commerce. So there's really a lot of work there to get the industry to adopt digital technologies, improve their competitiveness, develop, kind of also expand the market, including to neighboring member states or even the whole of the European Union. We're quite pleased that Latvia, in its recovery and resilience plan, has foreseen a digital innovation hub, which is a place where you can go that can share, provide technical assistance, share information. So hopefully with that and other efforts, the situation in Latvia will improve very quickly. So this is where we are. This is a collective challenge for the whole of the European Union. No member state is doing kind of where we need to be. The trajectory is quite steep for all of us. We have to get there because the rest of the world is not going to wait for the European Union to get its act together. So thanks to conferences like this, I think the commitment, also the strategy that was kind of presented or adopted by Latvia earlier this year, the Digital Transformation Guidelines 2021-2027 is a very good roadmap. Money available now from the Recovery Resilience Plan, around 21%, so 384 million euro, with the political will, with the support of the stakeholders. Latvia really has a very kind of exciting digital future ahead of it, but action is needed. And so I wish you all the best. I think these conferences is absolutely excellent to kind of get this on kind of visible on the agenda as a key priority for Latvia. And of course, the European Union always stands ready to help. Thank you very much.